This video is about periods, or as the British say, full stops. It corresponds to section 7.12.3 of the Applied Analog Electronics textbook. Now, most people already know the main use of periods in English, and that is to end sentences. That's easy to use, and just about everybody gets it right. There are a few other uses of periods. One common one, for instance, is for abbreviations. For instance, if you wanted to call me Professor Karplus, you might abbreviate it as PROF period. Now, that period is not a sentence-ending period. And one of the things that LaTeX does is to treat sentence-ending periods differently from other punctuation. It makes the space after a sentence-ending period a little bigger, a little stretchier, so that if you do justified columns, it stretches it in semantically reasonable places. But between Professor and Karplus is not a semantically stretchable space. So what you want to do in something like LaTeX is, after that sort of non-sentence ending period, use a tilde. What that means to LaTeX is this is a non-breakable space. And now you're trying to keep this entire pair of words together and not have it be an extra stretchable sentence-ending space between them. Okay, now I say you put periods after abbreviations, but that's not true of all abbreviations. For instance, our standard unit symbols like Hertz, or seconds, or Siemens, those are all not having periods. The periods would be only there if it was at the end of a sentence and you had a sentence-ending period. Another important point is that ... is not done with periods. This is a special character called an ellipsis, and in LaTeX you write it by saying I want an unbreakable space, then I want I usually use L dots, which means dots on the lower line. There's also something C dots, which you use in math when you have the dots up higher. And I put an unbreakable space before and after that, so that because it often comes at the end of a sentence and there's a period after it, and I want a space between the ... and the period. In other writing systems besides LaTeX, there are other ways of getting the ellipsis. It is a standard character in Unicode, so you get it usually through the Unicode character for ellipsis. Okay, math formulas. Math formulas often occur at the end of a sentence. And when they do, you have to be careful about how do you get the period at the end of the sentence. Now, if the math formula is just done as standard inline math, it's easy. You just put a period after it. The inline math here is behaving essentially like a noun phrase. Treat it like an ordinary word, put a period after it. If, however, you're displaying the formula, so it's coming on a line by itself, putting that period on the next line after that looks really terrible. You don't want to start a line with a period. So what I do for that, so if I've got a display math, either with square brackets or by doing begin equation, end equation, I will put the period inside the math formula, but I will put that tilde for a non-breakable space before the period so that the period doesn't run into the math formula, but has just a little bit of space to separate it from the math formula, because it, in display math, looks pretty bad sometimes when the period is crammed up against it. And there's only one other thing you need to worry about, and that's periods, which are not really periods but decimal points. Same character, same glyph, but different meaning inside a number. If you've got a number like 2.2, you just write it with an ordinary period. If you've got a number like 0.2, don't write it. Okay. I never want to see any number starting with a decimal point. If you want 0.2, write it as 0.2. So, no periods at the beginnings of things. They can only come after things, or in the middle of a number. They cannot come at the beginning of anything. Okay, that's probably all you need to know. Periods. They're one of the easier punctuation marks to use in English.